Hello friends, I'm Suraj Singh. You're looking for reading material? Don't go anywhere. You will get it right here. Differential diagnosis. So today we are going to discuss about a differential diagnosis. It is very short topic, and I am sure that you have heard already about differential diagnosis. We are going to discuss about the meaning, what is differential diagnosis, the purpose, and difference of differential diagnosis and diagnosis, importance, and few examples. So let us get started. Meaning of differential diagnosis. See, the process of differentiating between two or more conditions which share similar sign or symptom. For example, you have autism, you have an intellectual disability. They may share a similar kind of symptom. So to identify exactly what you have to do, yes, you have to do a differential diagnosis. Now, differential diagnosis is nothing but to rule out or rule in, most likely or not likely. For example, if you have a doubt, I have a doubt that that child may have an autism or intellectual disability, then you need to rule out with some other standardized tool. Differential diagnosis means that there is more than one possibilities for your diagnosis. That means you're not relying on one checklist, that you're not relying on one particular standardized tool. What is differential diagnosis? The process of determining which of two or more disease or disorder with overlapping symptoms a particular child has, as I said, you autism and intellectual disability. The distinction between two or more similar conditions by identifying the critical symptoms present in one but not in other, that is differential diagnosis. Diagnosis ASD must rule out mental retardation. As I said, you intellectual disability and autism may have a similarities in the characteristics, so you need to rule out to say exactly the child is autism spectrum disorder. And what you need to assess, there are some domains which you need to assess to exactly find out the autism or intellectual disability or any other disability. We are now discussing about Autism Spectrum Disorder differential diagnosis. So, you need to assess gross and fine motor, cognitive, that is memory and abstract reasoning, language and communication, attention span, and social and emotional functionalities. This is very important. So, these domains you need to assess to find out exactly what is the characteristics of autism. Whether you can say yes, that child has autism, or no, the child don't have an autism. The purpose of differential diagnosis. Now, the probability of one disorder versus that of other disorder possibly accounting for a child's condition. Exactly. If you do the differential diagnosis purpose is that only to find out the exact condition of the child. Differential diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder includes socialization, communication, eye contact. The main purpose of differential diagnosis for autism spectrum disorder is to find out exactly the characteristic which is mentioned, that is socialization, communication, eye contacts. Difference of differential diagnosis and diagnosis. Differential diagnosis means that there is more than one possibilities of your diagnosis. Diagnosis is based on your medical history and your symptom. For example, let us say the client has come to you at the center and you have screened your child based on the medical history or the symptom, and you come to the conclusion that child may have autism or child may have intellectual disability because the symptoms are the same. He has a socialization problem, even the intellectual disability has a socialization problem. The child is not giving eye contact, even sometimes intellectual disability has that characteristics. He is poor in reading, even intellectual. So you need to rule out. To rule out, you need to do the differential diagnosis. Differential diagnosis itself, it says that multi-diagnosis to find out exactly what is the condition of the child with more than one standardized tool. Now let us see importance of differential diagnosis. Benefits, yes. If you use the differential diagnosis, you can you can intensively discriminate the phonological, morphological, and other things to plan the training, to plan the intervention. You can also discriminate language learning disabilities, needs the some training of word learning plus more intensive morphological and phonological awareness comprehension. You can deal with it. There is benefit in other disabilities as well, to accommodate, to find out whether the child has a reading problem or language learning disability problem. Even some autism do express that. So student with language ASD may need a specified instruction. So what you have to do, you need to do a differential diagnosis to find out exactly that my child has this problem. Student whose cognitive development falls outside the normal range cannot be expected to read and write at the grade level. So if you see, you can do the differential diagnosis to find out whether it is true or not. Just to find out that, you need to do a differential diagnosis. Let us see a few examples. See here, intellectual disabilities. All domains of development are delayed or outside the normal range. If you see a typical intellectual disability, you can see the child has a problem in personal domain, social domain, occupational domain, recreational domain. They have a delay in that functioning. P, pervasive developmental disorder, delay in two or more domains of development. It can be a personal, it can be a social, it can be a communication. Autism, as I said you, the main characteristic is communication, social, which is very similar plus and minus to the mental retardation. Now it is called intellectual disability. Primary language disorder, language development outside the normal range and significantly underdeveloped, which compared to the normal reasoning in a normal range. So that is also an example. Slow learner, developmental profile consistently at the lower end of the normal range but does not meet the criteria of LLD. So these are the few examples of differential diagnosis, uh, the characteristics of a particular disability, how it looks. When you do the differential diagnosis, you will find these characteristics in the your standardized tool or checklist, and you have then your role, and you have to um, do exact differentiation of these conditions of these disabilities. I hope you have understood. This was very small topic. Finally, if it was helpful, please like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you.